This week in Jamaica Now, pressure Pelts Paulwell. The energy minister faces calls for his resignation over the EWI saga. But Paulwell is unmoved. Why the former contractor general Greg Christie is commending the government. A night of horror. A 17-year-old girl is robbed, roughed up, and raped in a quiet Clarendon community. And Ousted tax commissioner heads to the Privy Council over her termination. The details of these and other stories coming up after the break.
Reach anyone, anywhere in the world with the Gleaner Online. Send your brand on the go with 292,000 users of our mobile apps. And broadcast your messages to over 200,000 fans and followers on our social media network. Increase, target, track.
I'm Damian Mitchell, and this is Jamaica Now. Under pressure, the Energy Minister Philip Paulwell is insisting that he acted in the best interest of the country in relation to the controversial 381 megawatt energy project. The project is facing another setback as the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, has declined to finance Energy World International, the Hong Kong-based company undertaking the project. The IDB has cited concerns about the procurement process that resulted in EWI's selection as the preferred bidder. In an unusual move, the Energy Minister amended the license for EWI days before the deadline for the payment of a performance bond. And following EWI's late deposit of the performance bond with its banker, the minister said he will allow sufficient time for the bank to complete its due diligence. In a report to Parliament last September, the Contractor General highlighted another concern. He said Mr. Paulwell acted improperly when he facilitated EWI's inclusion as a bidder. However, the Energy Minister maintains that he did nothing wrong. Mr. Paulwell says he will speak further to the issue in Parliament this week. Meanwhile, the Energy Monitoring Committee says there are gaps in the license issued to EWI to construct the 381 megawatt power plant. In the license recommended by the Office of Utilities Regulations, the regulator, among other things, require that EWI provide a performance bond within 10 days of getting the license, submit its 2013 audited financial statements within 90 days, and submit a financing plan within 45 days. However, those requirements were removed in the final license issued by Mr. Paulwell on April 14. The former Contractor General Greg Christie says the government should be commended for rolling back the withdrawal tax on deposit-taking institutions. Commenting on the social networking site Twitter, Mr. Christie said the move demonstrates that the government is sensitive to the concerns of Jamaicans. In closing the budget debate in Parliament last week, the Finance Minister, Dr. Peter Phillips, said instead there would now be a withholding tax of 15% on all insurance premiums paid by Jamaican residents to non-residents. There's also to be the imposition of GCT on imported services. Dr. Phillips says both measures should yield the $2.3 billion in revenues that was expected from the withdrawal tax. The quiet Clarendon community of Parnassus is trying to recover from last week's horror after a 17-year-old girl was raped by 2 of 4 armed men. It's reported that shortly after 2 o'clock Thursday morning, 4 men carrying guns and machetes kicked off the door to her house and robbed the family of cash and other valuables. The men then dragged the teen into nearby bushes where they raped her. Angered by the incident, Parnassus residents blocked the main road, demanding that the authorities cut the overgrown bushes where the teen was raped. The residents say the bushes have been providing a haven for thieves and rapists. The ousted Commissioner of Tax Administration Jamaica, Viralee Latibediere, has vowed to take her employment dispute with the government to the UK-based Privy Council. The Court of Appeal last week upheld legal arguments from the government lawyers that Ms. Latibediere failed to file her fixed-date claim form within the 14 days deadline after she was granted leave to go to the Judicial Review Court to challenge her dismissal. As a result, the court set aside the injunction obtained by Ms. Latibediere, which barred the government from filling the post of tax commissioner. Attorney Hugh Wildman insists that his client followed the right procedure in relation to the filing of her fixed-date claim form.
They are saying that leave lapsed because we did not file within 14 days, but we are saying that under the law, and the Privy Council has said so, that time does not run for filing pleadings during the long legal summer vacation, because that's the time when everybody take a break. The law is clear that lawyers are not required to file pleadings during the long vacation, and that law is protected under the Judicial Supreme Court Act.
A replacement has been found for Velma Hilton as a commissioner for the West Kingston Commission of Inquiry. The cabinet decided on the replacement last week. Ms. Hilton withdrew from the commission following pressure from the parliamentary opposition. The opposition was against her inclusion because of comments she reportedly made while serving as a lawyer for a 2002 inquiry involving West Kingston. Ms. Hilton had reportedly said she could not understand why the security forces should not shoot women and children if they were being used as buffers by criminals shooting at the police. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. You may tune into Power 106 FM for regular updates. Follow us on Twitter at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. I'm Damian Mitchell, and as we go, we revisit the tweet room where comedian Dr. Michael Abrahams performed surgical analysis last week as the Prime Minister made her contribution to the budget debate.